Hello, speedrun and abiotic factor enjoyers. This is the Dark Fusion speedrun, finally, any percent, which means there's a lot of out of bounds going on. It's a whole new game in a way because we're going out of bounds, using resources to go out of bounds. Decathlon, faster run, better stealth, self-defense for a little bit more damage, buff Brainiac for carrying more stuff, and then little things that don't matter to carry it over. Break even, that's the word I'm looking for. If you've watched Abiotic Factor speedruns before, this is the pretty standard grab what you need from the starting area. 14 duct tape, 3 metal scraps, 8 cloth, 10 pipes, 1 gauge, a coffee mug, screwdriver, of course, 4 planks of wood. I think that's the gist of it. And then the stuff to get out of bounds, as usual, because this is an any percent run. We don't want to stop to make the crafting bench. We want to just get going as soon as possible. So if you followed Scoops' run from the Hydroplant patch, you're going to see some similarities here of how we get into Hydroplant early. Scoops did a lot of work for us on that patch. Finding couch clips can get us into places we normally couldn't before, using something like a cot or a cooler clip. And also how to use a sniper rifle as a melee hit by using a weapon swap where you bind your fire and the hotkey for the sniper rifle. Well, it turns out that works for just about anything that has a damage value on it, including grenades. So that is why this run has a cup of coffee at the beginning, because we need that mug to make a mugnade. And that was me just setting up my inventory for what my muscle memory is comfortable with on the run. Losing a second there so I don't fumble for several seconds pressing the wrong button later on. We're coming up on the first major boss of this run now. And that is couch RNG. You have 50% chance to get a couch to salvage, or package. In this particular run, I got 2 couches early. You have 3 of them you can work with right away for the long couch, and then 1 later. You want 3 couches in total, 2 long, and then 1 2 long or 3 long. It doesn't matter. Ideally, you get the 2 long one because it weighs less. Getting some coils and some power supplies here for later. The run needs 1 water cooler, because we do a water cooler clip. You'll see why in Shadowgate, because there isn't really enough space to do a normal couch drop or anything like this. This is another thing Scoops found for us, how to reliably item drop. You have your fire key also bound to next and previous hotbar item, and then you sprint and try to place the item. And that will usually drop it at your feet. The one catch to that is if you have 2 of the same items on your bar, you need to do the far right one, or it will just place the item normally. So like if you look on the bar there, the 2 couches next to each other, if I tried to do it on number 4, it would not work, but number 5 would, because the next item over is not a couch, the same type of item. So yeah, Scoops is the one that developed this run. Big shout out. This section in particular, it's so good I couldn't find any improvements on it. See what happened there? I accidentally placed the couch. Now, if that happens, you pick it up, switch off, switch back. There we go. Coming up on the second hardest boss, well, probably the hardest boss of the run. I stayed on the couch a little bit longer to top off my stamina because it's a big sprint. It's getting out of the water. This spot is a nightmare, to the point that if you play this game, please suggest to the devs that they raise the water level in that area, just in general, because it is horrible trying to get out of that water, even casually.
You, get down.
Scoops once again developed this run, where you bait the sniper. Didn't work out too well for me there. Gonna lose a little bit of time because my other choice is to literally just bleed to death, so Exiting and reloading still gets rid of the bleed. Got really unlucky there. Usually I can juke that sniper and get the shot to go off. Oh yeah, that little inventory thing was to get rid of the weight bug. I was considered encumbered there, so by moving something around, it fixes it and makes it recalculate inventory appropriately. We're coming up on the big star of the run, 5 cots. This is our resource for getting through the majority of the clips in the game. Also a few more materials we need. If you're wondering about the fast melee with the club there, that is just tapping the button rhythmically with next hotbar item, previous hotbar item, also bound to fire. The side effect of that, so you can only have a key bound to 2 places. So I have fire, next hotbar item, previous hotbar. Oh yeah, just a casual chair drop there, don't worry about it.
Do you, Abe?
So fire, next hotbar, previous hotbar is 1 bind setup. And then I have fire and C and 2 second hotbar items specifically bound to C. And then hotbar 1 is also bound to X. And what that does, that's how you do the swap to melee with a weapon you're not supposed to melee with. Realized I discarded the wrong table leg there, so I swapped for a fresh one. Build phase, not much to see here. Just some building as quick as I can. But the downside to that is because changing hotbar position is bound to both fire buttons, I can't normally fire something. So I can't normally throw a grenade. I can't, if I were to get a gun, I would not be able to fire the gun. I can't drink or eat anything because the swapping of the hotbar will interrupt it. The only way to do it is to specifically put it on slot 2 and then pressing the button that does fire and swap to slot 2. So if you're thinking, why didn't I bring freeze grenades to deal with Shadowgate guys later? It's because I'd have to specifically put them on slot 2 to throw them, and then swap back to the mug grenade while the enemy was frozen to melee them with the mug grenade to get the quick kill. And it's just too much time and work for how quickly meleeing them with the mug grenade hits. Also, you'll see some other clever use of intended game mechanics to clear some enemies out, and I'll explain that when we get to Shadowgate. This is setting up for a death warp and also some inventory organization, because we need to go get the components for the jetpack over in the apartment sewer area. So we got about 30 seconds of boring swimming here. Scoops, I know I keep bringing up that name a lot. Scoops did some great stuff. Determined that it is possible to pop out of the water and do the sneak roll. The timing is so brutally hard, especially because I just struggle to get out of water in general. I have never been able to do it without the jetpack, and I can still barely do it with the jetpack. It's like maybe 1 out of 10. So maybe that's something I'll practice one day, but right now it's not even worth doing because it will slow me down. So that's an example here of using the button bound to fire and 2. It swings the table leg and then switches to the crowbar that I have in the 2 slot. So it swings at the speed of the table leg, but uses the crowbar to calculate damage. And you see the crowbar is losing durability there. But that does considerably more damage to break those breakables for the materials compared to trying to hit them with a table leg. I'd probably go through 3 table legs trying to do that. Don't want to spend 30 seconds, 40 seconds running and swimming back, so that's why we set up the bed beforehand. Grab everything out of that one locker to be able to make the jetpack. And then while the jetpack is charging, I set up my inventory to continue through this next out-of-bounds section. Now, this is something I mapped myself. I'm really happy with it. I spent several days routing and pathing it. And see, that was a good time. You can get away with about a half charge on the jetpack safely, so leaving it 75% charge means I did that pretty quick. Set up to do a aerial roll, followed by a jetpack because it keeps the momentum, and that means the longer you can keep that going there, the more distance you make without being slowed down by just swimming. Because again, you can't really do anything to speed up swimming. Yeah, here I am trying to... Yeah, see, I was actually trying to get out of the water and do the roll, and it just wasn't happening. Even with the jetpack, I couldn't get the boost. Wait for the drop. Jetpack. And this section is just doing trying to keep some good racing lines. Go as straight as possible on the optimal path if you can. Lots of swimming, because Reactors is down, so like I don't even know if we could get down here without the jetpack, honestly, to break the fall. Here we're setting up for a mid-air jetpack reset. You've got to be careful that you don't get stuck on those routes and lose all your momentum. We hit the loading zone, that resets momentum. Then we do the roll to get momentum back and make it over there. It is possible to make that in a single jetpack thrust, but it is very difficult. And if you were going to try it, I'd recommend bringing a bridge to set up to give you a better jump angle if you ever go and dabble there. I think my jetpack overheated there, that's why I reset it, just to make sure. I've gone off this jump thinking it had reset, and then having it not fire and breaking legs, and breaking limbs is slow. Wonderful power of COTS, here we go. And I hope you enjoyed your slightly over 2 minutes in Reactors, because we're all ready to Shadowgate. Now you're probably wondering, how the heck are you gonna deal with all of those force fields if you don't have null grenades?
My lord.
Well, the same way that we got here. And the portal facility itself was another area I worked pretty hard on to figure out the routing for. Originally, I was coming in with 2 extra water coolers, and towards the end of getting the time down, yeah, luckily didn't get hit by the turret there and caused a bleed. But yeah, I don't remember what I was saying now, so haha. Oh yeah, but these 2 enemies you're seeing, that's the grenade swap in action. Always check that guy. Sometimes you get a chieftain pack. That little bit of run speed can add up for all the scampering you do in this area. Right, see, it didn't work. The item drop didn't work, so I swapped, and now it worked. So we have 1 water cooler and 1 cot. And these are our tools, along with the bed and a crafting bench to get through the Shadowgate facility. So here's the game plan. I'm going to start up here, set up a bed as a respawn point. Because once you get in to break the things you need to break, you're stuck. You gotta... I'm stuck your way out. Made the crafting bench there to free up inventory space, so everything I have now is on my bar. That way nothing gets accidentally left behind. Don't need to kill that guy, the chieftain standing there, because we're leaving. We did what we needed to do in this room. That room's kind of awkward, that's why it's done that way. Once you get over into this room, you get to set up everything else. Get to see an actual fight this time. And the bleed's no big deal here, because we're gonna exit the world and come back. The reason for that is crafting benches suppress spawns when powered. But if the spawn is already there, obviously it won't remove it, so we reload the game, and it goes, oh, a crafting bench is suppressing spawns. So that gets rid of the Jotun that would normally be standing on that balcony right there. And you can see why a Jotun standing on that balcony would be very bad. One more save and exit. This ledge is very small and makes it hard to do an item drop there. In fact, you can't even drop a cot normally. You have to do a standard item drop, which is very unreliable. So this is much more consistent. I almost never have that fail. And the reason I do the move the cloth rope around is when your inventory updates, the game usually saves your character, including their position. So if I don't do that, it will look at it and go, oh, I don't need to save the character, and potentially revert me all the way back to, like, the bed or something. See another instance of the item pump not quite working, so I just had to do a quick reset. Here's an example of the grenade specifically being on 2, so I can press my button that fires and swaps to 2 at the same time to actually throw the grenade, just like I did to actually drink the cup of coffee in the starting area. That was good luck. The chieftain over there was walking away, so I didn't have to worry about him throwing a grenade. Not that he's much of a threat for what we're trying to do there, and you're going to go die anyway, but it's nice to not have him putting extra pressure on. So this might seem like a weird way to go about this, and it's actually because the Mystagogue in there, trying to run past him, there's a very high chance he will grab you and throw you across the room. So that was my solution, to just bypass him entirely. Previous attempts, I would do the bottom loop last, and then just come up the stairs from where you throw the grenade, and try to run past him, but I kept getting grabbed so many times, and it would cost upwards of 30 seconds if he threw me all the way down to the bottom, because then legs would be broken, and I may as well just die and reset at that point.
You arrive at the critical moment. Your precious gatekeepers retreat to the frigid residential region of your facility to harness the power of the dark lens and bring ruin upon us all. My brethren.
See, I'm putting in all this effort to pantomime to his speech, and he just doesn't care. The Order guys have no sense of theatrics. I mean, at least the gatekeepers have some fun.
Wait, abide, amend your course.
Yeah, look at that. The new content came out, and utilizing all the glitches we've discovered, going all the way back to the initial demo release of the game. This is a beautiful culmination of all the tricks and stuff that we've put together, showcased for a fairly quick run. I think the only really dull parts are the swimming sections, which account for like maybe 2 total minutes. And you'll see how much the world was active, a whole 14 minutes and probably some seconds. And that's it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.